I've just arrived at Hong Kong International Airport. So you can see here are the trains. The door's still open. Everyone's filed out. MTR student here, customer service center, and here's the sign. Terminal 1. I'm not sure if T2 is fully operational yet. You can go over there now though. So walking in from the Airport Express, you can see here is the train, right? Terminal 1, you can see airport, and ahead of me is the departure check-in and arrival information boards. And you can see back that way for the Asia World Expo for the train, or this way to T1 and the check-in aisles. So departures is up here on this floor. I'm walking up over a bridge because below me is the arrivals. All right, going across the bridge and heading to the arrival hall here at Terminal 1. What's up, Tech 9? All right, here is customer service, and you can see the arrival hall. All the way down there is A, and all the way down there is L. No, I'm not leaving Hong Kong today. I am actually just picking somebody up here at the airport. Okay, so I will go down to A and we'll take a walk down the length of the airport. Uh, let's see. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just picking someone up at the airport today. So I just thought I'd go live to kill some time and go ahead and do a rundown of Hong Kong International Airport since I've done some other airport live streams, but I've actually never done Hong Kong before. Right, if you've seen my streams, I have done JFK, Haneda, and a couple in mainland China, but this is the first time in Hong Kong. So A, if anybody knows, A is where Cathay Pacific does their employee staff ticketing. So that is usually not for airlines. So we don't need to start with A. You won't have to be at A. B, over here, what airlines do we have? So Cathay Pacific is doing, looks like first class check-ins from B on this side. And Cathay Pacific Economy, Premium Economy is on this side on B. So if anybody knows, Cathay Pacific is Hong Kong's flag carrier, and they will have by far the most flights in and out of Hong Kong International Airport. So here is C, and it's Cathay Pacific as well. You can see departures way down on the other side. Yep, Cathay Pacific for other flights. You can see Hong Kong International Airport. It's actually very big. This is the, you can say, new airport. It opened in 1998, replacing the old one in Kowloon City. All right. So here we have D. And finally, someone that's not Cathay Pacific. I know that's Airport Concierge Services. And nope, looks like it is also Cathay Pacific here at D. It says Air France there, KLM, but no one's working. So it is Cathay Pacific. And we've come down further. We are at E, the next one. So far, A, B, C, D, it has all been Cathay Pacific. No other airlines yet. Let's see, what do we have here at E? Looks like we're finally, yes, got an airline that's not Cathay Pacific. EVA Air. So we have a Taiwanese airline. Probably just a short hop over to Taipei. All right. So finally, our first non-Hong Kong airline, EVA Air, is operating a flight tonight to Taiwan. And here is the customer service counter here at Hong Kong International Airport. Let's see. F. We are now at F. Let's see what airlines we have here. China Airlines, it says there, which is actually another Taiwanese airline, not from mainland China. And yeah, China Airlines, both sides. Okay. So, two Taiwanese airlines back to back, EVA Air and China Airlines. So A through D was Cathay Pacific, and then E and F was EVA Airline and China Airlines, respectively, both based out of Taiwan. All right. Come down to G. Let's see who is at G. So here it says Japan Airlines. There's a few airlines listed on the other side, but it's United. So United is currently operating this counter. So the first US based airline, and I'm not sure where United, they used to fly United to Newark, but I'm pretty sure that flight has been eliminated. So I'm not sure where United flies to the US anymore. Here we have Korean Airlines, probably only flying to Seoul. I can't imagine they fly anywhere else out of Hong Kong. Air Cambodia. That doesn't seem right. But that's what it says, Air Cambodia. And on this side is Emirates. So Emirates is flying out of Hong Kong tonight in a business class, gold, silver, first class. Counter there. That's going to have to go to Dubai. Here we have the security channels, departures. There is a little kiosk selling gadgets for your flight. So now we're here at H. We have Hong Kong Express. So Hong Kong Express is Cathay Pacific's budget airline. It used to belong to Hong Kong Airlines, but just before COVID, Hong Kong Airlines sold Hong Kong Express to Cathay Pacific. And then during Cathay Pacific, Dragon Air or Cathay Dragon was shut down. So now it's just under Cathay, it's Cathay Pacific and Hong Kong Express now. And here is Qantas. So we have Australian Airlines running here near the end at J, and the very end, British Airways, bringing up the rear. Or it looks like there's one more aisle past British Airlines. So British Airways and China Southern. So China Southern is based out of Canton. So that has to be almost definitely a very short flight from Hong Kong to Guangzhou. It's only a 30-minute flight, but Cathay also runs that short little flight. So here, there is still a couple more aisles. So which airline is down here? Looks quite busy. Hong Kong Airlines, that makes sense. So Hong Kong Airlines is not actually, well, it's based in Hong Kong, but it's owned by Hainan Airlines, which is a mainland Chinese airline. So it's like a subsidiary. Like I said, they used to own Hong Kong Express, but they sold them to Cathay Pacific. And Finnair is here. They only fly Hong Kong to Helsinki. And finally, we got to the end. So L. L is here, and we have Cebu Pacific. So Philippine Airline, and that's probably it. Okay, so I've just done a walk down. Hey, I see some people in the chat. Alexandra, hi Alexandra. Cool. So does anyone want to see any airlines or take a look anywhere? Or does anyone want me to go down to I'll go down to arrivals if you want. If you want me to go down to arrivals, leave me a message in the chat and I'll walk down to arrivals. Otherwise, I completed the walk down um, departures. Well, I got time to kill. So let's go ahead and walk down to departures and take a look since the escalator should be just ahead of me. So I've never seen this before, as I usually don't come down to this end. I know on the other end where A is, there's a Starbucks, but it looks like on this end there's like a Godiva Cafe, which in my opinion is much better than Starbucks. Chocolate sounds much better than anything that Starbucks would have. So, okay, that's pretty cool. There's a cafe on each end, A and L. Don't usually come down to this end because I do usually fly with Cathay Pacific. I rarely nowadays fly with any other airline out of Hong Kong. Coming up here is the escalator, and I can go down to the arrivals hall. All right, cool. So going down the escalator, you can see straight ahead, people waiting for arrivals. There's a sandwich shop over there. There are a few more restaurants here in arrivals. There's a couple of Chinese restaurants. There's a Deli France. There's a 7-Eleven down here. Both ends, arrival A and B, both ends have a Travelex money exchanger. Of course, the currency exchange rate is horrendous in the airport. So if you're coming to Hong Kong and you want to change money, I recommend going to Chongqing Mansion. There's also a few money shops, money changers, Dundas Street in Mongkok and some around Shengwan, Sai Ying Pun. But Chongqing Mansion is the best bet for most people, and they usually have really good rates. All right. So if you joined me from the beginning of my stream, when I started, I got off the Airport Express, and that was the arrivals to arrive at the airport. So if you're leaving the Airport Express station is down there. Airport Express goes from here to Qingyi, then to Kowloon Station, then to Hong Kong Station. If you're staying near Central, it's pretty convenient. Not many tourists will be going to Qingyi. And Kowloon Station is actually not a very convenient station. There's nothing really there except for Elements Mall and the West Kowloon Cultural Center. But it's not, it's in a good location and it looks close to a lot of places, but it's not well connected. So I wouldn't recommend going to Kowloon Station, even if you're staying in the Kowloon area. There is a couple of shops over here, another currency exchange, but again, avoid the ones in the airport. So, to be honest, the best way to get out of Hong Kong Airport is to take the bus. I know that you know, with the train station, the high speed, no, it's not a high speed train, but the Airport Express train, you would think it would be the best. But unless you're going right to Hong Kong Central, that area, it's probably not your best bet. You're probably best going down there to the buses. There's the Bank of China, HSBC, ATMs. There's the 7-Eleven I mentioned. It's a little overpriced for 7-Eleven, more expensive than the ones in the city, but not by that much. And it's quite convenient if you just arrived and you need something quick or you want to buy a SIM card or top up your Octopus card. That's a good place to go. There's a restaurant there and another Travelex. Wow, I guess there's 3 Travelexes, but they're just terrible currency exchange. I can't believe anybody's really using them. There's two Chinese restaurants over here. I've eaten at Crystal Jade quite a few times. It's not bad, but a little overpriced because it's the airport. Here's the welcome to Hong Kong, and you can see they have two pandas because we just got two panda cubs like a year or two ago given to Hong Kong as gifts. So they were really trying to promote panda tourism like a year or so ago. All right, here is the B arrivals hall. So there's only A and B arrivals hall here in Hong Kong in Terminal 1, and they're both connected on the other side. So it doesn't really matter which one you come out, A or B. Yeah, they're about the same. Here's the Airport Express. There's another entrance there. And so I've almost finished. So as you can see, A is on that end, which is towards the L on the departures, and B is on this side, which is towards A and B on the departure. So they're kind of opposite in that regard. Yeah, okay, so no, this is not Travelex, it's a global exchange. So there's two global exchanges and two Travelexes, but again, avoid those currency exchange shops in the airport if at all possible. And here's the escalator to go back up to where I started with A, right, with Cathay Pacific. And there's this waterfall thing. This was installed a few years ago. I mean, it looks kind of nice, but kind of fake at the same time. All right, there are also washrooms over here, but there's washrooms in a few other places. And I've just walked down the other side of the airport, so I've done both the arrival and the departures. So now I'm going back up. All right, so I'm really going to end the stream this time unless there's anything that anybody wants to see or if anybody has any questions about the airport. So just leave for a couple minutes if I see anything in the chat. If not, we have made a complete circuit of both the departures and arrivals area here at Hong Kong International Airport. So here is A. We haven't seen it. Like I said, this is where staff, Cathay Pacific staff can check in for flights, right? If you're flying standby, that's usually what A is used for. Here is an elevator. It's quite handy if you want to get to the 6th floor because this is actually the 7th floor that I'm on. And the one I just came up from was the 5th floor. There's actually a floor in between. It's only accessible by elevator. You would only go there if you're going to the clinic. So if you were feeling ill and wanted to see a doctor here, or if you had lost luggage. So there's a lost luggage on the 6th floor as well. But otherwise, there's nothing of interest on the 6th floor. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this stream. But since we have a minute, I'll go ahead and show you the Cathay Pacific employee check-in counters. But they have kiosks here now. Those are relatively new for on this side. All right, and here's the bag draw. So I guess they're really pushing for the kiosk now, which is, I think it was last year they made it mandatory for standby, but they still do manual check-ins because for certain flights, like US flights, the kiosks don't usually work. You have to get manually screened. So you can see they're doing the manual screening for standby passengers to check in down here for when you can't use the kiosk, which I found is quite often. Or just have people who have questions. All right, so a lot of people lined up over here, right? You can see the sign. It says employee travel, right? Yep. All right, seems everyone's dipped out on my stream, and I've already completed 2 walkthroughs of the airport. So thanks for joining. See you next time.